Hi everyone. Hi. Long time no see. If you're new here, hello, welcome. If you're returning, thank you for coming back after a brief hiatus. My name's Hayley. I am a first year medical student, nurse and knitter from Melbourne, Australia, and welcome to the first podcast episode of 2025. I'm so excited to be sitting down with you today. It feels like it's been a million years since I spoke to you. Last I actually sat down and spoke to a camera was the end of Vlogmas last year. And now today is the 5th of February. So I don't know where January went. She's gone already. She ran away and we're in February now. And I'm finally sitting down to film this episode. I really thought I would have this episode out sooner in the year, preferably last week or the weekend before. But alas, that did not happen, and that's okay. I'm trying to be very kind to myself because I've had a lot of life changes the last couple months, which I'm excited to get into. So grab yourself a drink and a snack. I have an iced coffee. It's summer here in Australia, so it is toasty warm. It is the evening time now, so we're in like the low 20s. But yeah, it's still too warm to have a hot coffee. So we're going with an iced coffee. But yes, grab yourself a snack and a drink because I think it might be a little bit of a long one. We won't know until I edit this, but I feel chatty. I feel excited to share and let you know what's been going on. Before we get into what I've been knitting at the moment, please remember to subscribe if you're new here. And if you want to see the kind of videos that I put out this year, we're going to try and keep up with the monthly podcasts and vlogs as well, and some other fun projects as well. So definitely subscribe to keep up with that. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and comment down below what crafty things you have in your hands at the moment. Knitting, crochet, cross stitch, whatever it might be. Let me know what it is that you're working on. As always, I follow a standard podcast format. We do life chit-chat updates, finished objects, works in progress, acquisitions and plans, and then a bit of knit and chat at the end about other media I've been enjoying, reading, TV, music, that kind of thing. So I'm going to start with a life update because lots happened. So when I last left you, I was in America. That was Vlogmas. If you missed Vlogmas, the playlist will be linked down below. All the videos will be there. I had such a good time filming Vlogmas last year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm kind of excited for this year's Vlogmas to happen, but that's a while away. But yes, I was in the States and we went to Disney World that weekend after I finished up the last episode of Vlogmas, and we had the best time. I absolutely adore Disney World, so does Callum. This is only the second time that we've been, but we're already planning to go back again. We loved it so much. Last time we went was in, I think, 2022/23, I think. And we only had a couple of days. And so this time we had quite a bit more time. We had about a week, and we used that time to the fullest extent. We stayed on site, which was amazing. We stayed at Coronado Springs, which was a bit different. Last time we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So it was a very different resort experience, but it was fantastic. Last time we went, Everest, a couple of the rides were under construction refurbishment. So Everest was closed for refurbishment. We got to ride that this time. Amazing. Tiana's Bayou Adventure was open this time. We loved that. And also Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And I honestly think that ride was like one of my top rides from the trip. Absolutely love that ride. We only got to do it once. We did experience the new virtual queue situation at Disney, which was very interesting. I know there's a lot of controversial opinions about Disney's queuing system and like lightning lanes at the moment. So yeah, we did get the lightning lane like multi-pass for all the days that we were there. We just find lightning lanes improve our experience. And then straight after that we had a couple days back in Colorado, and then we went to Chicago, and oh my gosh, I didn't think I was going to fall in love with Chicago as much as I did. It was so beautiful. It was snowing almost every single day. It was freezing cold, so I got to wear all my knitwear. I shared a couple pictures on my Instagram, and yeah, I loved it. I want to go back. I feel like there's more to experience, especially with like the food scene that we just didn't get to experience. So But yeah, we really enjoyed Chicago. And then yeah, we came home. And yes, I'm back in Melbourne. You may notice that I'm in a new apartment. Maybe you can't because it's literally just a white wall. But I am in a new place and it's not where I thought I would be. So if you remember last year, I told you guys that I got into medical school for this year, which is really exciting, and we started last week. But back then I was under the impression that I was going to be moving out to regional Victoria. And what I was not aware of, blissfully unaware of on my holiday, was that I would not be moving out to regional Victoria until 2026. So here I was under the impression that I had somewhere to live because subsidized student housing for rural medical students. And I had been reassured that there was a place for me. A bunch of other things happened, admin confusions and misunderstandings on both ends of the spectrum, me and the university, and everyone was confused. And basically, when I got back, so I think it was a week before we started, it was the week before we started uni, so literally about 3 weeks ago, it was confirmed that I was going to be staying in Melbourne for this year. And that rocked my world. We had ended our lease and moved a bunch of our stuff up to Townsville, where Callum's based at the moment. So I didn't have any belongings like fridges, washing machines, dryers, that sort of stuff. I had like the bare bones of my life. I had quit my job in the suburb where I was living because I'm not going to be able to work there. And I had started prepping to move out to regional Victoria. So I still had my car and things like that. And so it kind of changed everything for me, and I realized very quickly that I was going to have to find out a way to build my life in Melbourne again, back up. So find somewhere to live and get a job. Unfortunately, I didn't find an apartment with a car park space, so we had to find a way to manage all of that as well. And yeah, it was a bit of a shock to the system. But that means that I am still in Metro Melbourne. I have moved suburbs and I am now living very, very close to the CBD. I can see the city from my window. I'll see if I can pop in some B-roll. It's not the, amazing skyline view. This is a student apartment building. But yeah, I'm a city girl now. I never thought that I would ever live in the middle of Melbourne. It just seemed like something that was unattainable for me as a student or as a young person, and was just like not something I was ever really interested in. But here I am. As I said, I'm in student accommodation, so I am in a shoebox essentially. It is a 1-bedroom. It's about the size of my old living room, if not smaller, so not including my dining room and my kitchen, just the size of my living room. So as you can imagine, trying to whittle my life down to a 1-bedroom size level of stuff has not gone as smoothly as I hoped. And it felt like every time I thought I had everything packed, I'd open another cupboard and there was a bunch of stuff in there, like drills and tools and just random bits and pieces that you collect over time, just evidence of existing as a human, that you just don't realize need a place to live. So I'm not going to show you my apartment right now because there is stuff all over the floor. I am heading up to Queensland to take things like drills and all of that up to where Callum is at the moment and put that with all of our other stuff that he has there. But until this kind of is all a bit sorted and a bit nicer, I'm gonna hold off on the room tour. But yes, I think I'll feature that in a vlog at some point in the coming months. So keep an eye out for that. But yes, so I am in a teeny weeny 1-bedroom apartment in the city of Melbourne. It is about 500 meters from my university, which is fantastic. One of the things that I was really looking for was location. Unfortunately, graduate students, postgraduate students don't get access to student discounts for public transport, and it costs about $5.50 per tram ride from where I live at the moment. So really affordable wise, it was better to come into the city. I'm handing the keys back for my old apartment next week, so we're almost done with that chapter. and that stress of ferrying things back and forth. And I'm hoping then that means I can sort of lock into this new lifestyle and this new routine, and hopefully then I'll also be back to producing regular videos for you guys, which I'm really excited about. In terms of university, I'm loving it. If you're not new here, you'll know about my kind of journey towards medical school. I'll give a brief overview, but I've been wanting to get into medicine since I was really young. It was something that I really strived for when I was in high school, but didn't get the grades, unfortunately, to go straight into undergrad. I pursued science but didn't enjoy research, so I gave that up and did nursing instead. And then since I finished my nursing, I have been working really hard and studying really hard for the entrance exam, and I was rejected in 2020, the end of 2023, so for 2024 entry, and then finally got in last year to commence this year. So it's been a long time coming, and I feel so grateful and so excited to be here. I'm just thrilled. This morning we had a like interactive tutorial / lecture, and it was fantastic. I just loved every second, and you have those surreal moments where you're sitting there and you realize that I actually did it. Like, I actually got in, and I'm here, and I'm studying medicine, and I'm living my dream right now. So yeah, there's been a lot of those moments, but the content and the workload, it's heavy. It's very heavy. We start our general practice placement or clinical rotations in a couple weeks time, in about a month. So that's going to add some complexity as well. And then in April we start our electives. I have been allocated my top preference for my elective, which is sexual health, because I really want to get into obstetrics and gynecology. So I'm really excited to start that. And then we start our hospital clinical rotations a little bit later in the year. So it's a lot. Last week was very much like a throw everything at you sort of week in terms of orientation and getting used to everything. But I think things are starting to come into place and settle down now. So I'm really enjoying it. A lot of people on my course know each other already. A lot of people have come from this university for their undergraduate degrees and then gone straight through the pipeline into their postgraduate. A lot of them have graduated last year, so a lot of the people are a lot younger than me. People in their very early 20s, 20, 21 years old, to my ripe old 25, because I'm so old. But yeah, it's very, I feel like, apparent the difference in going straight from uni to uni versus uni career back to uni. So anyway, that's kind of the update. Callum is still in Queensland, and I will be going up to visit him soon, but we're still doing long distance. We've got 4 more years. 4 years definitely sounds like a long time, and it feels like a long time right now, but I think it's gonna fly by. Okay, that's it. Let me know how your new year has been so far down in the comments. For me, it has been very topsy-turvy. It feels like so much has happened in such little time. Okay, let's talk about some knitting. I've shuffled over, so hopefully I can put pictures and things here. I don't have any finished objects to share this month. Sorry. I have not finished anything since my Everything I Knit in 2024 video. If you missed that, that'll also be linked down below as well if you want to check that out. I finished a couple things during Vlogmas that I did feature in that video, so feel free to go check that out. But I'm going to talk about works in progress now, because I have a couple. The first whip you will have seen in Vlogmas as well, and I think in last month's podcast, December's podcast. And those are my mountain pine socks. This is a pattern by Stone Knits, and they're a very festive, Christmassy pair of socks that I was knitting up for my boyfriend Callum, with the intention of gifting them for Christmas, but clearly I did not finish them. I don't know if I shared a little bit in Vlogmas about why I was kind of turned off of these socks, but as you can see, I did the heel here. I tried a new heel construction. I know, surprising for me. I'll just cover my face so you can actually see. I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is a German short row heel, I believe, and it is the heel that is featured in the pattern. And I thought that it would stop the holes from forming, but it actually just made a giant hole. where you connect the stitches for the heel and the main body of the sock. So I put these down in December and I have not picked them up since. In terms of the yarn, I am using Drops Fabel in this navy blue colour. All the colour numbers and information will be down in the description as well. But then also this kind of light grey sort of colour. This is colour 114. And that's the contrast colour. And it's this beautiful, beautiful Christmas festive design. I especially like this zigzag pattern here. It kind of looks like mountains. And the trees just look gorgeous. So yeah, I did not finish these in time for Christmas. I'm hoping to pick these up again sometime soon, but no promises. The big holes in the heel just have really just not made me that keen to work on them. I am using a 2.5mm needle. I use that for all of my socks at the moment. I'm kind of keen to play around with some different needle sizes and sock constructions this year and try some new things. I'm typically like a slip stitch, heel flap and gusset and a wedge toe kind of person. But you know, with the Colorette Cuff Club and all of that stuff, I'm really keen to try some new things. I know that I can sew up the holes in the heel of those socks, but it's so big and gapey, it just doesn't look that good and doesn't make me that excited to finish them. I love the look of the heel though, it looks so clean, but yeah, I don't know about the holes. They were really good travel knit, perfect for the plane, but yeah, we'll see when I pick them up again next. Okay, the next one I'm so excited to show you and update you on, because I was knitting on this in Vlogmas whilst I was away, and I have made so much progress since then. So I cast this on before I left for holiday. I'm going to try not to clack these needles too much. And I worked on it whilst I was away on the plane, or whilst we were in Colorado, and I ran out of yarn. I only packed, I think, 2 extra balls of the yarn, and I ran out. So then when I got back, I picked this sweater straight back up, and I'm kind of almost finished. That's my Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Stunning. So the Ingrid sweater is an all over texture sweater. This is one completed sleeve here with there's moss stitch, there's these crosses, there's rib, there's some lace rows in there as well. Absolutely gorgeous. I opted for the folded neckline option. I don't like the neckline that's featured in the original pattern, just not my cup of tea, so we went with folded neckline, and I just think that's more wearable for me. I'm gonna get more wear out of it. And this is Drops Lima. The color number is 9015, and it's this kind of grey, kind of a light grey sort of color, and I absolutely love it. I think it's perfect for this pattern, and I don't have any grey sweaters, so I'm really excited to have this in my wardrobe. I am using a 4mm needle, and I used a 3.25 for the ribbing on the neckline, but I did stick with the 4 for the ribbing on the sleeves. It's just my preference. And I did Italian bind off on the sleeve as well. I'm going to do the same for the body. The pattern is so addictive and potato chippy. You just want to work the next section. So on the second sleeve, I'm up to the crosses, and like as soon as I sit down with it, I'm like, oh, I could finish the cross section of the chart today. And then you just keep going, and then once you're done with that, you're like, oh, all right, well, we might as well just do the pearl rows. And then you're like, oh, I could do a lace row. And it just is addictive. The yarn is also really soft as well. I'm excited to see how it's going to block and how it will feel on my body, but right now, unblocked, it is so soft and so fun to work with. I do like a good rounded strand of yarn. I just think it looks fantastic in texture and cables, but also just feels so good to work with. Like, it's not splitty, and just looks so neat as well. So I did knit the neckline and the sleeves before doing the body. That's just how I prefer to do my sweaters. I find that prevents me from getting on sleeve island, and also just gives me a better idea of the fit before finishing the length of the sweater. So if I need to lengthen it or shorten it, I can properly assess that. So yeah, I'm up to the second sleeve and I'm hoping to have that finished this week so that I can then finish up the body. I have a 2x2 rib section to do on the body and then the 1x1 rib to finish it off, and then it'll be done. I'm so excited to have this for winter. I'm excited for it to get cold here, and with living in the city, I'm just like, cold winter city vibes is just, this is just perfect for that. So excluding this little bit attached, I have 3 balls of yarn left. I think, yeah, 3. So I think that will be enough to finish the sleeve and the body. It just depends how long I want the body to be. If I need to order more, I can. I don't really just want to have to order 1 ball of drops lima though, so girl math, I'm gonna have to order a bunch more just to justify the shipping. It's also hard to know how this is gonna fit as well post blocking, because the texture makes it so cinchy and scrunchy. Like if you look at this sleeve, you're like, there's no way that that is a full length sleeve. But like when you stretch it out properly and like with the drop shoulder and everything, it comes to there on my hand. So I think it's gonna fit fine. Yeah, so that's my Ingrid. I'm really excited about this one, and I'm having so much fun working it out. I really do enjoy petite knit patterns. I love the way that they're written, and I love how clear they are. And I also just love the look of them. So I'm excited to have that one in my knitted wardrobe. Okay, I feel like I absolutely blazed through that. Let me see if there's anything else I want to say. I have my notes on my laptop just here next to me. I don't think so. If you want to see more of the process of knitting this one up, because I was going to film a vlog, but I found that by the time I was already, you know, knitting in the round on this sweater whilst I was in the States, I hadn't filmed any like introduction or anything talking about this sweater. It was just Vlogmas clips, so I decided to just keep going on it and not film a dedicated project vlog. So if you do want to see kind of that process sort of stuff, I think it's the last vlog from Vlogmas, so Vlogmas number 4 from last year, I think has the most Ingrid sweater content in it, and also the most holiday content as well. The last whip I have to show you is a pair of socks. So I cast these on Christmas Eve. They were my Christmas Eve cast on. I wanted something cozy and simple as well to knit on whilst we were sitting on the couch watching Polar Express, as we do every year, but this time it was Polar Express in a snowy cold place, which was really cool. And so I decided to cast on the Togetherness socks, and this pattern is by Little Home Designs. I cannot find the Instagram for this designer. I think the pattern is available on Ravelry, so I'll link that down below, and I don't know if they have a website. If they do, it'll be down in the description as well. But they are a, I guess, cable sock. Here's mine. As you can see, it doesn't really look like cables right now, but let me stretch it out for you. It's really hard to show this color with the focus. It's just not focusing. All right, here we go. You can see the cables a bit better now. It looks glorious. So I did a 1x1 rib on the cuff here. And then the cables, it's a 3-stitch cable, and you don't use a cable needle. You can twist the stitches without the cable needle, which I really love. I did a slip stitch heel flap and gusset as always, and I'm doing wedge toe. That's what's featured in the pattern, and that's where I'm up to. I did 3 rows on the toe whilst watching a lecture just like half an hour ago. So hopefully I can finish off this sock tonight. I am loving the look of it, specifically in this yarn. I knew that I wanted to use this yarn for a cable sock, like a brown cable sock. It just felt right. And this is Drops Fable, of course, color 101. And I absolutely love it. Drops Fable I really enjoy for socks. It's so soft, looks fantastic in texture and color work, and is affordable as well. So if you're looking to get into proper sock yarns, definitely go check it out. The Drops Fable is, what is the composition? 75% wool, 25% polyamide. I realized as well, I forgot to talk about the composition of Drops Lima. I just kind of assume that people know like which Drops yarns are which, but I forget that I was a beginner too and I had no idea what the difference was. So drops lima is 65% wool, 35% alpaca. And that's why I like it so much. By the way, I also really love alpaca yarn. But yes, drops fabel, wool and polyamide. And yeah, we're almost done with the first sock. So I hope I can have this pair finished for you by the time I next see you in next month's podcast. But we'll just see. I have been enjoying knitting whilst watching lectures. I find that my brain focuses a lot better when I have something to do in my hands. And it helps me sort of introduce myself to the content, and then I can go away and actively learn you know, the important things, and also review the things that I don't remember from the lecture. So yeah, that's kind of when I've been working on these. Also on the tram, when I've been going back and forth between here and my old place. Yeah, but I'm hoping to use this as more of my like class knitting. Now, on my very first day of uni, I was so excited because I saw another girl knitting in class. I hadn't pulled mine out yet because I was a bit nervous. I didn't want to be that person who was like being distracting in class by knitting. And I do get nervous about people asking me about it, be like, oh, what are you doing? But yeah, I saw her knitting and I just had to go up to her and I asked her what she was making, and she was making the baby bear bonnet by Knitting for Olive, and I just thought that was the absolute coolest. I was like, oh my god, I made that pattern twice last year, and I was like telling her about it. I don't think she was excited, as excited to talk to me about knitting as I was excited to talk to her, but that's okay. Maybe we'll become friends later in the year. But yeah, I just thought that was really cool. And it gave me the confidence to pull my knitting out later in the day during one of our lectures. So yeah. So those are all my whips. That was really, really quick, it feels like. I've only been filming for half an hour. I feel really chatty today, but also I feel like I'm talking really fast because I'm really excited to be sharing things with you guys. So let me take a second. I'm so happy to be back filming, and I'm really keen to get filming a vlog. I might start filming a vlog tonight. We'll see. I'm trying not to overwork myself and get burnt out too quickly. Anyway, yes, let's talk about acquisitions and plans, because I have some really, really cool, exciting things to show you. I'm first going to talk about a really exciting collaboration. So towards the end of last year, I was contacted by Rosarios 4, the yarn company, and they asked if they could use one of my pictures in their 2025 calendar. And I said absolutely, of course, because I used the Rosarios Maya yarn last year to make a pair of socks, my pedal drop socks, which are still a whip. I'm still working on the second sock, but I absolutely adore that yarn and I have loved working with it. I'm really keen to work with more of that yarn. But yes, they asked to use my picture and they sent me a couple copies of the calendar. Here we are. It's beautiful. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, please go and do that because I yap a lot on there all the time. But yes, I shared this all on my story. I unboxed the whole thing, the whole box on my story. And it was really, really exciting to share with all of you when I got it in the mail that morning. But yes, my picture is in the calendar. How cool is that? That's my socks on my floor in my house. So cool, and it's in a calendar now. Here it is. It's for the month of October, which is my birthday month, which I also couldn't believe. I couldn't remember if I had told them that I wanted to be October or if they just picked it. I feel like they just picked it. I don't remember talking about it, but who knows. But yeah, amazing, amazing. So they sent me 3. I've got one up on my my desk over there with all my books. And yeah, it just feels like the most amazing thing. I never thought my hobby and just wanting to share my hobby with all of you would lead to something as cool as this. So yeah, thank you Rosarios for featuring me in your calendar, and thank you all of you for allowing me to pursue opportunities like this, because without you guys, this would not be a thing. So thank you. Then after we had finished talking about this calendar, they flicked me another email and said, hey, do you want some yarn? And I said, absolutely I do, because I have so many knitting plans for this year, and I'd love to try a more wider variety of their yarns, not just the Maya, which I already plan to work with again. So we kind of talked about projects I wanted to work on and yarns that I wanted to try, and we came to a conclusion. And I did also unbox this on my story, so if you follow me on Instagram you would have already seen what I got sent. But Rosarios very kindly sent me 10 balls of their Terra 100% wool yarn. How gorgeous is this? So this is color number 8, which is a light grey, and it is just stunning. Again, 100% wool. This is part of their eco collection, and I'm so excited to get working with this. I did not reveal on my story what this yarn is for, but I will tell you now, and it is for one of my Make 9 projects. I'm going to use this yarn to make the Dagmar zipper sweater by Petite Knit. I'm so excited. Can you just imagine the cables in this like thick, round wool? And it's so soft and so squishy. I'm so excited. My beautiful knitting friends Mickey and Heidi, who live in Canberra, are going to also be knitting up some versions of the Dagmar. We're going to try and do a buddy knit. I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when we're going to cast these on. But that's the general plan, and I'm so excited. I think Mickey might do the jacket, I think, but I don't know which one Heidi's going to do. But yeah, I'm so excited to do that with them and to be using this yarn. Again, thank you so much, Rosarios. It was so kind of them to offer and to send me this yarn, and I'm so excited to work with it. I'm going to film a project vlog for this project so I can show you everything. So keep an eye out for that. But I'll let you know as well when I cast that one on. Now, in that package, they also sent me a little special treat. They sent me 3 balls of their Belmont yarn, which is 50% organic cotton and 50% organic wool. This is the color number 40. And it's this really cool, like 2-stranded yarn. It's got like a blue strand and a black strand, which have been twisted together. And yeah, it's really soft. It's really beautiful. I have no idea what I'm going to make with this. If you have any suggestions for a 50% cotton, 50% wool pattern, let me know. I've only got, 150 grams? How many? Yeah, I've got 150 grams. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. But if you have any ideas, please let me know. And thank you, Rosarios, for sending me this to try. I'll let you know how it goes. Then I also bought some more yarn. I don't remember if I shared this anywhere. If I maybe shared this in Vlogmas or if it was pre-Vlogmas. I don't remember. But I bought some Rowan felted tweed. This is the first time I've ever bought Rowan yarn. This is their felted tweed in the color 170, which is this deep navy blue yarn. And this is, what is your composition? This is 50% wool, 25% alpaca, 25% viscose. And you can see that it's a little bit tweedy in there. There's these different like tweedy flecks in there. There's some white bits, some blue, some orange, some brown. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I have bought this yarn with a purpose. There is a series that I want to do on this channel that I'm really excited to start. I don't know if I should tell you. I think I'm going to have to tell you eventually, because I am going to knit a sweater with this yarn. And I'll have to talk about it in podcast before the first episode of the series is out. So I'll just tell you now. Why not? I am going to be doing a knitting Harry Potter series on my channel this year, where I knit a knitted garment from each of the films or books from the Harry Potter series. So starting with Philosopher's Stone, I'm going to be knitting up myself a Weasley sweater. So if you're not familiar with the series or what that means, in the book, one of the characters, Ron, his mum knits them all beautiful garments that they sometimes love and sometimes don't love so much. But in the first film for Christmas, Molly Weasley, so Ron's mum, makes Ron and Harry a knitted sweater with their initial on the front. And I feel like it's a staple knit for all knitters who are also Harry Potter fans, to knit one up for themselves. That's going to be the first episode of the series. I don't know when that's going to start. I don't know when the first episode will be out. I'm just trying to get through my Ingrid right now before I cast on any more sweaters. But yeah, that's what this yarn is for, and I'm really excited. I have been wanting to knit up a Weasley sweater for myself for a very, very long time. I will be using a grey yarn, maybe leftover from my Dagmar, to put a H on mine, obviously for Hayley, but can also be for Harry. And I'm really, really excited. So yes, those are my acquisitions. I didn't end up buying any yarn in the US. I found that we ran out of time to go to any yarn stores. We had a really jam-packed holiday, and because we didn't have cars in any of the states that we visited, it meant that traveling to other parts of the state to visit, you know, yarn stores which weren't in the city, difficult and just unattainable right now. So I didn't buy any yarn from overseas, but that is okay because I probably needed to save money. But I do live really close to Maker, which is a yarn store in Brunswick here in Melbourne. So hopefully I'll be yarn shopping there very, very soon. As for other plans, I'm kind of trying to keep up with the Colourwork Cuff Club. Wasn't so keen on the January pattern, so I haven't actually looked at the February pattern. Should we do that together right now? I don't know what the February pattern is. I will decide right now on camera whether I'm going to be knitting up the February socks. The Colourwork Cuff Club, by the way, is a pattern by Summerlee Knits. It's a one-off payment that you make, and you get the base pattern. And then every month, Summerlee Knits will release a new colourwork chart for that month. Oh, cute! Okay, it's a love heart chart, very sweet, with some diamonds as well. I will put a picture here so you can see what I'm looking at. I would love to make some love heart socks. I'm going to show you the yarn that I'm going to use. Oh my god, okay, this is exciting. Okay, looking at my stash, which I have set up in literally my eye view from my bed, which is like my cozy spot now. Oh, yes, 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 yes. How Valentine's-y is that? How cute. So can you imagine this as like the main color of the sock? This is Casca, by the way. Sky Collection 4-ply printed sock yarn, 75% superwash, 25% nylon. This beautiful pink colorway. I bought this yarn in Colac, in regional Victoria, when I went and stayed at the Tandy farm with my family. Vlog down below. And yeah, Callum helped me pick this one out, and I've wanted to try this yarn for ages. And then could you imagine this for the love hearts? Yeah, I could. Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, I'm gonna finish one pair of socks at a time. I still have 2 pairs of unfinished socks from last year, but happy Valentine's Day. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that with acquisitions and plans, because I could go on all day about exactly what I want to do for my knitting. I have a lot of yarn at the moment, and I'm hoping to do some stash busting this year. Let's talk about other media. This is the knit and chat portion, so I am going to knit and chat at the same time. I'm going to talk about some books, because I have read, drumroll please, 5 books already this year. Who is she? Who is she? No idea. Last year my reading goal was 100 books. I didn't even make it to 30 last year. The reason why I was so ambitious last year with the number of books I wanted to read was because I read 50 something in 2023. So I was like, oh, I could do 100 in 2024. Let's double it. Why not? Full send. That didn't happen. I'm aiming for 50 this year, which is a minimum 1 book a week. I have not read much these last few weeks, but I will tell you what I have read so far this year. So the first book I read this year was Divine Rivals let me move over so you can see things. Divine Rivals. Cannot remember the author's name. It's here. I gave this book 5 stars. This is classed as YA fantasy. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I really did. I just found the world and the politics and the magic system and everything just so fascinating. And I really, really love fantasy, and it was really, really cool to explore a new world. You know, I like Akata, I love Fourth Wing, which we'll talk about in a minute. So it was exciting to read a whole new world with a whole new magic system, and yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. If you are into fantasy or you're trying to get into fantasy, highly recommend Divine Rivals. It's a very widely enjoyed and read book. So check it out if you would like. Then I read one that I had downloaded, I think, on Stuff Your Kindle Day, which is like a free like Amazon day, I guess. Someone told me in the comments last year when I mentioned it that it is run by the authors who are involved in it. And they list their books for free on Amazon to kind of get their names out there. And there's romance days, there's fantasy days, there's sci-fi, there's just general sort of days. But yes, one of the books that I downloaded from one of those days was The Heart of Silk and Shadows. I gave this 3 stars. It was okay. Not particularly memorable. I can't really remember much of what happened actually now. But it was interesting. It was nice to read something a little bit different. Not much else to say. Next. When we were in Chicago, my love for Divergent came back in full force. That is where they filmed the movie for Divergent. I absolutely adored dystopian novels back in like 2012, 2013. They were all the rage. But they really sparked my love for reading. I was not a big reader in primary school. Up until like year 7 or 8, I really was not a reader. And then I found YA dystopia, you know, Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner, Tomorrow When the War Began, all of that sort of young adult dystopia. And so yeah, when we were in Chicago, I was like, oh my god, this is where they filmed it. You know, we got to see, you know, the trains and the train tracks that they filmed on, and I had the song stuck in my head. What is it? Run Boy Run. Stuck in my head. I listened to that heaps. And so I just decided to read it. So I did pick up a copy from Barnes & Noble. You've probably already seen this book a million times in your life. 4 stars, as always. It is, it's a classic now, right? It's got to be classed as a classic. And then when I got home, the release date came around for my most anticipated read for this year. 3 guesses as to what it was. Onyx Storm. This is my US special edition hardcover copy that came. I pre-ordered this book when pre-orders opened on Amazon last year, like the start of last year. This was like a couple months after Iron Flame came out. And so I've been waiting for this book for ages. Here is the sprayed edges. Oh, to die for. I gave this book 5 stars. I know there's a lot of controversy out there. You know, some people love it, some people hate it. That's art for you, right? I love this series. I love Rebecca's writing. I love the world that she's developing and creating. And what I thoroughly enjoy about this series, specifically in this book, is the fact that we don't know everything. The fact that the magic system is still developing, and we're learning about the magic system and the world right there alongside our main character. Our main character does not know everything. Our main character is a beginner in this world as well. If you're unfamiliar with this, by the way, this is the 3rd installment of the Fourth Wing, well, the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. The first one was Fourth Wing, very popular. And yes, Onyx Storm is the 3rd book. The 4th one is hopefully coming out in the next couple of years, I hope. And I'm so excited to see how that goes, because this book ended on a cliffhanger. I'm not going to talk about any spoilers. That's not what this channel is about. But I highly recommend the Fourth Wing series if you are into fantasy. This is adult fantasy as well. There is spice in this. There's been a lot of conversation around romantasy and versus real fantasy. Brandon Sanderson, I think he gave a talk, maybe it was a TED talk or something, about fantasy a couple months ago, and he mentioned this series alongside Akatar as well. And what I really appreciated that he said was that, you know, if you have come to fantasy from Twilight, Harry Potter, Fourth Wing, Akatar, there is a space for you here in this community. And I really appreciated that, because at the end of the day, the more people who read, the better, right? And I think series like this, series like Akatar, they have done wonders for the publishing and writing industry. Yeah, so I'm really excited about this book, and I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. I devoured it in less than a week. Okay, then I read a graphic novel. I read Anne of Green Gables. Beautiful, beautiful graphic novel edition. It was just on Kindle, part of Kindle Unlimited. I have a Goodreads that I will link down below as well. So if you're ever curious as to what I'm actually reading at a specific time, or what I have read this year, or I mention a book that I didn't link below, it's on my Goodreads as well. What I'm reading at the moment is The Healing Season of Pottery. This is a book by Yeon Somin, and I'm really enjoying this. I think they are a Korean author, and this was originally published in Korean, and so this is the English translation, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying, after reading, you know, fantasy and sort of getting into more epic fantasy, I'm really keen to read some epic fantasy this year, some Brandon Sanderson, some Robert Jordan, things like that. It's nice to sort of take a step back and just read about people in life. This is specifically about someone who quit their job suddenly and experienced some big life changes, and what I'm assuming has been described as depression, and one day sort of stumbles into a pottery workshop studio and learns about the lives of the other student potters in there as well, but also learns a lot about herself as well. I'm really not that far into this book, 65 pages, so I really haven't read much, but it's been really, really nice to read a couple of pages or a chapter at the end of the day, after just experiencing, you know, the busyness and the stress, to just kind of take a step back and just read about like pottery and about this woman navigate her life and the seasons of life. So highly recommend this one. I have another book that I bought at the same time. It's called Days in the Morisaki Bookshop. I bought that at the same time I bought this one, with the same intention of taking a step back and reading something a little bit more chill. So I will read that one as well eventually. I have been mainly watching lectures. I haven't had much time for YouTube. I got behind on Vlogmas, and then when I got back I just did not have the time to enjoy the rest of it, so I'm still sort of catching up on Vlogmases here and there. But yeah, I've mainly been knitting on this whilst watching my lectures. I'm hoping to get some downtime this weekend at some point, especially next week as well, after my keys get returned and I'm living here permanently. I'd like to just spend my evenings with a book or with a movie and some knitting. Yeah, and just kind of get back into the slow life. Okay, I think that is everything for this month. Thank you so much for bearing with me and being patient whilst you waited for me to get this video out to you. And thank you for watching till the end. Remember to subscribe and like, and let me know what you are currently working on craft-wise. I really hope that you are safe and well wherever you are. I hope you've had a wonderful start to the new year. If you haven't, you're not alone. We're all here with you, cheering you on and supporting you, and knitting together. I hope this video brought you some kind of joy or peace today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!